which naturally deloads at the top. You can transfer energy up the kinetic chain. You grab the bar a little from the inside, making the weight feel lighter on top. Little bit of your lats and rear delts as well. Stay in my catch position with my elbows pointing up to the ceiling. Do try out these 6 variations and let me know down in the comments below. Kikawur. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over one of my most favorite exercises and equipment to use in the gym, highly underrated, which has multiple use. We're going to discuss the landmine today. What is a landmine setup, you might ask? Well, a landmine is a tool where you place a barbell with one end fixing it with the landmine attachment and the other end of the barbell remains free to move. It creates a ton of freedom of movement, which works in great combination with the added stability. And lastly, it travels through a curved bar path which naturally deloads at the top, allowing it great carryover into certain movements. Oftentimes, the landmine is marked with explosiveness, but we need to make out a clear distinction between explosive power and explosiveness. The difference between explosive power and explosiveness lies as follows. Explosiveness has to do with how fast you can run, how high you can jump, etc. Meanwhile, explosive power has to do with how efficiently you can transfer energy up the kinetic chain. Though they are closely correlated, they are in fact different, and thus they must be trained individually. These exercises performed on the landmine demonstrate how to specifically target and enhance explosive power with the landmine. The first movement we should be performing is a landmine explosive press. After you have gained proficiency at your unilateral and bilateral shoulder presses, you can carry over onto this. Place the bar up, rack it in your rack position, descend into a quarter squat and finish explosively with a triple extension. What is a triple extension, you may ask? Triple extension is extension through your hips, through your knees, and ankle, plantar flexion. What benefits pressing on the landmine offers as compared to regular overhead pressing movements is reduced strain on the shoulders and wrist. This is a great movement to be performed for athletes, bodybuilders and powerlifters alike, having great carryover with explosive strength. The next variation we should be performing is a landmine split jerk. This is going to be a unilateral pressing movement with a forward stepping lunge. Generation of explosive strength in a unilateral plane will have great carryover again for athletes alike, and you can train each of your limbs separately, not letting your stronger side take over as it does during a bilateral press. In the next pressing movement, we are going to add a lateral deadlift into a forward stepping lunge. Not only is this going to work in the frontal plane, but we are introducing a new dynamic into this motion and working on our rotational strength as well. We are going to descend down into a lateral deadlift, placing the bar on your side. You grab the bar a little from the inside, lift it up straight, transfer with your other hand, press into a lunge and finish your press. As the bar descends down, you will catch it with your other hand, drop it down and do a nice rotation and transfer of energy. When you do this fast, the movement will look somewhat like this. Not only does this work your pressing muscles, it's also working on your lower body while you pick the bar up and great rotation from your trunk. Similar to the last movement, next we'll be doing a rotational press, but this time in a kneeling position. To introduce some new dynamics into the movement, we're going to incorporate the use of bands. As discussed earlier, one of the greatest advantages the Landmine has to offer is that it deloads the weight on top, making the weight feel lighter on top. What the introduction of this band is going to do is make the same weight get heavier on top. So if we draw a strength resistance curve, as we keep pressing the weight up, the weight slowly keeps getting heavier on top. I'm going to take a band of light resistance, place it under both my knees. I'm going to loop the top end of the band onto the barbell. I'll grab the barbell the similar way that I did during the lateral deadlift to the rotational press. I grab it inside, I'll pick it up, grab with the other hand, transfer of weight up and press. As you can see, I'm struggling a little bit with this movement because as I keep pressing, the weight gets heavier on top. When I do this with momentum, this might look a little easier. This works on your same rotational strength, but with an added variation in a kneeling position if you want to take out a lot of involvement from your lower body. Being in a kneeling position makes it greatly focused on your upper body, and with the introduction of the band, you're challenging the strength resistance curve. One of the motions that you see oftentimes being performed on the Landmine is a T-bar row. While it's a great exercise to work on your lats, I'm going to be showing you a variation. It's going to work on your upper back, lower trap and thickness of your rhomboids, made popular by the late great John Meadows. We're going to be doing a Meadows Row. Not only does this work on building the thickness of your rhomboids, your traps, little bit of your lats and rear delts as well. In the way that you perform it, it helps you create explosive strength off the floor as well. If you do it in a bodybuilding style, you'll be doing it nice and slow and controlled. If you want to gain the explosive benefits out of it, you're going to be performing it in an explosive manner from the ground. I'll take a wide base so as to not let my core strength limit the amount of weight I can pull on this. I'll grab the bar at the very edge and rest my elbow on my non-working leg. I'll retract my shoulders and row straight up. It's a beautiful exercise made popular once again by the late great John Meadows, and performing 3 to 4 sets of this with 10 to 12 reps in a slow and controlled manner is sure to set your upper back on fire. The best movement and the last one for this video, I saved it for last, is the most complex of the lot, but if done well, it has multiple benefits. I don't really know how to place the correct name on it, but I'll just name it a split jerk to a press. The first movement is going to begin standing in the position I stood during my Meadows Row. I grab the bar from the outside, I'll rotate it up during a clean and press straight forward. All the while, there's going to be a transfer of energy from my lower body. To clean the bar up, stay in my catch position with my elbows pointing up to the ceiling. Transfer of energy from my right hand. Switching the legs, I'll go forward. This again is a full body dynamic movement requiring great strength and stability from your shoulders, from your core and from your lower body. Approach all of these movements with caution, taking extra precaution to warm up your shoulders and your rotator cuffs nicely. Use the Landmine, which is often underlooked inside the gym and just keeps lying in one corner. But if done right, this can have so many benefits into your strength and overall explosive training. Do try out these 6 variations and let me know down in the comments below how these helped improve your overall strength training routine. If you want me to drop a series 2 of the Landmine series, I really love using this tool. Let me know in the comments down below and I will drop a second part very soon. I met one of my oldest students yesterday, Shujadip, after a period of 2.5 years. He was among my first batch of students who I initially taught when I started my training career. It is so heartwarming to come across people after so many years who you have initially taught and getting to see the impact that you have made on certain people's lives. I still remember when he walked in as a little teenage kid, but today when I see him doing so well, it just brings back so many memories and makes the whole process of teaching feel so heartwarming and fulfilling that okay, what I love doing the most on this planet, I can create some impact out of it. There's no greater joy in teaching and being able to create a greater impact on the lives of people.